All right. Hey, what's going on out there, Blog Talk Radio Land? It is another glorious day. We're on a Thursday. Yes, we are. And, honey, you know what time it is, honey, so I'm hoping that you have all of your crumpets together, baby, because it's time to dish tea, and you're dishing tea, darlings, with Big Meat. Hey, what's going on, babies? Oh, yes, honey. We have a very special edition show. You know, usually I'm on Wednesdays. However, because of the nature of today's topic and with this event coming up, we wanted to make sure that folks are aware of what's happening down here in the ATL. As you all know, we are enthralled in the celebrations of Black Gay Pride down here, and Atlanta is Sweet 16 as far as celebrating its Black Gay Pride festivities. And in that Sweet 16, 6 of those years, honey, this would be the 6th annual States of Black Gay America Summit that's coming up. So because we have that coming, we're going to be sitting down talking with one of the representatives of the organization, Ms. Ash Helm Hernandez, who will be giving us the inside track on what's going on today. As we have our in celebration, one of the events that has become a staple within the festivities, as I said, has been the State of Black Gay America Summit, and has now become one of the driving forces of the Pride celebration as we allow community leaders and journeymen to interact and find solutions to the problems that plague the LGBT community of color. This year's theme is what I'm calling today's show. It is called Embracing Our Collective Power to Influence Change. And now, if that's the theme, then the question then becomes, what kind of change is needed in our community? Okay? So we're going to get all off into that because I really think that this is very important and how wonderful it is that we have this particular topic at such an epic time in our life with the election going on, you know, the whole up and down on gay marriages and carrying on and what the country has gone through with someone's personal opinion. Thank you, Mr. President. That's a personal opinion. You know how it has become a polling. Everybody think that now it is a part of the election campaign. It wasn't nothing to be bartered with. But, you know, that's something that we as LGBT persons of color need to consider. You know, what is our political voice and this, that, and the other. So we're going to delve into that today, okay? So before we get started, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, want to join in on the conversation, please feel free to call 347-205-9183. The number again is 347-205-9183. If you're listening by computer, the chat room is open, or the tea room as I like to call it, so you're welcome to go over there and to discuss all kinds of things within the tea room. Now, I'm going to tell you this, honey. Over here in the tea room, I want you to dish your tea responsibly, okay? It's okay to disagree. Just don't be disagreeable, okay? Remember, this is the written word, and a lot of times we end up thinking that folks are saying something one way and you know, based on your experience, you're perceiving it totally different. And so it can cause problems. So just remember, honey, over here, just dish your tea responsibly, because if you start getting up out of hand, honey, I will cut you, and understand when I tell you I will. Okay, now let me put my disclaimer here that dishing tea with Big Meech is for mature audiences, and the language and or subject matters that come from this are not necessarily suited for children or anyone who is not mature to handle the subject matter. So your listening discretion is advised. Again, dishing tea with Big Meech is for mature audiences, and the language and or subject matters that you hear are not for children or anyone who is not mature to handle the subject matter. So your listening discretion is advised. Now, you guys know, for those of you who know me, honey, I have a potty mouth, and I make no excuses for it. However, I'm going to do my best to curtail that because my mom is here visiting from Detroit. And she's here in the studio, so I don't like being all that way around my mom and carrying on, because she still is mama and will hit me, and I don't need y'all to hear all that on the air. Okay? So having said that, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, want to have show ideas, show topics, wishing to be a guest on the show, proposed guests that you may think about, or Dear Big Meech letters or anything like that, please feel free to email me at bigmeech@dishingtea.com. That's Big Meech, BIGMEA. Okay, I'm back. I'm sorry. I must have hit something on my switchboard, honey, because it knocked me out the thing. I had to redo my system. So I am back. Ha! Ooh, that's kind of weird. But anyway, okay, that means I need to slow myself down. I must have been doing a couple more clicks or whatever than anticipated. However, as I said here, we're going to get things started. I was giving everybody the email address or whatever as far as going to the website at www.dishingtea.com. You'll find information about me, about the radio show. You'll get linked to all of the sponsors. You'll get linked to all of the Facebook pages and things of that nature. And also, most importantly, you could go and pick up your copy of my book, Awakenings, Epiphanies Along a Spiritual Journey, which I'm going to put on sale for the duration of the Black Gay Pride Celebration Weekend. The books are originally $15, but if you get it during this time between now and midnight Monday, September 3rd, you'll get it for $10, okay? So go there and check it out. Now, I've got to change it on Amazon.com, so if you're ordering through Amazon, give me a second because I haven't changed it on the thing yet. I've just decided to do this. Ha, 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 brilliant, right? But, yeah, this is going to be the Pride Celebration sale. You'll get it for $10 during the Pride Celebration. So, in the meantime, before I bring Ash on, I know she's sitting in the wings and ready to get this thing started, let me take a commercial break and wet my palate, and then make sure that I got everything together so we don't have another mishap like we just did, and then we'll be right back, okay? So I will see you on the flip side of this, honey, in 2 and 2.
The internet sensation is now in print. Get your copy of the book that will not only change your life, but change your thinking as well. Awakenings, Epiphanies Along a Spiritual Journey is a compelling collection of blogs that have been the pinnacle of spiritual development and discernment for its author, internet talk show host Big Meech. Not only does this body of work offer the insight from his life experiences, it provides the reader an amazing opportunity to go on a journey that will awaken insight into their own higher power while encouraging personal growth and spiritual development. With chapters such as, I cannot give you life, nor can I live it for you. Truth is a bad bitch. It's time for a career change. I am not your God. And in what love do you operate? You will be captivated and compelled to take the life lessons the book has to offer and apply them to your life. To get your copy today of Awakenings, Epiphanies Along a Spiritual Journey, go to www.dishingtea.com, or you can find it on the web at www.amazon.com, or if you prefer an ebook, find it at www.smashwords.com. Awakenings, Epiphanies Along a Spiritual Journey. Are you ready? Are you ready for the journey?
Vidal, Couture, Eacham, Vidal, Couture. Enjoy high fashion with luxurious twist. Step into the future with fresh, innovative couture. Designed by Miss Michi DeVale. Michi DeVale. For more information, contact Michi at 313-996-9807. 313-996-9807. Or go to Facebook and go to facebook.com/Michi DeVale. That's MICHIEEDEVALE. Michi DeVale. Eacham Vidal Couture.
Just around this issue is from your assessment, as either a pride organizer or events planner, what do you see as some of the pivotal either positives or negatives that exist in our community? Give us a no-holds-barred assessment, and we're going to be respectful to each other, but we can't have the conversation without having the conversation. So take some time, not too much time because we're on a time limit, but from your expertise, what are some of the tensions, the unspoken tensions and the prevalent tensions that exist between promoters and organizers?
Oh, wow, I got to be the first, huh? All right, well, I think Tariq Jackson, National Director of Youth and College at Change Atlanta, we were pivotal in doing the first State of Young Gay America on Wednesday. I think it's clear there's some folks that are not sitting up here that have done the organizing who don't think it's important to have a conversation right now. Or not important enough in this particular arena to have a conversation about it. So, of course, the first issue is that we have to deem the same things important. Secondly, there needs to be a sanctioning board that protects the quality of what it means to be involved in Black Gay Pride in Atlanta. We've got to control the brand. We've got to own it. Somebody's got to own it, and then there's got to be some police officers around it so that any and everybody and not any and everybody and every promoter can come into this city and create events that are in direct competition to one another. So you don't have so many choices, and some of them lack quality, and some of them lack integrity, and you find yourself involved in a bunch of foolishness. So for one, the folks that are sitting up here have to create the same thing as an industry standard. Every major event in the country, every major marketing and branding venture from Essence Music Festival to some of the larger prides have sanctioning boards that say what can and cannot take place when they are taking place in their events. So that's number two. Number three, I think there's got to be some synergy. We may not like one another, but I think every person deserves their lane, and we function in that lane, and when you're in your lane, there's no competition. And so once we align everybody to where they belong and we come together and we have a conversation that's pivotal, I believe we can do something great.
And we are back. What you just heard was a snippet of last year's summit. And I decided to play that right off the bat because that was part of the State of the Black Gay America Summit 2011. I was honored to be on one of the panels that year, but this particular panel was primarily speaking about the promoters and the organizers of Pride. And yes, that there, darling. If you were not there, honey, you missed a treat because it got live. It got a little explosive. Tempers got defined a little bit, but it was a conversation that needed to have happened. Right now, without any further ado, we're going to bring in the communications director of State of Black Gay America. This is Miss Ash Helm Hernandez. Hello there, my darling. How are you?
I'm well. How are you, Big Meech?
I am everything, and everything is moi, darling.
Yes. I can tell that it's so fabulous to be on with you.
Oh, well, thank you so much. I appreciate that, darling. Now, as you've heard, you were there last year and carrying on.
I was.
And, honey, when we were dealing with this particular topic, a lot of folks are not really aware of what it takes and what it means to really deal with this kind of stuff. And even with as LGBT persons of color, a lot of folks don't think that we have issues. A lot of people still don't believe that we're still fighting for stuff that doesn't necessarily come in rainbow flags and this, that, and the other. That these are actually real topics and stuff that is affording and alive within the community. So let me start with you, and let's start off with the basics. This year's conference. Tell us about what the purpose of this year's conference is, and then let's move from there.
Okay. Well, the purpose, like you said, your theme as well, is embracing our collective power to influence change. And with that being said, I want to go back to that snippet you played and just highlight that just for one moment. In that conversation, you're talking about promoters, and then you're talking about the event for the Black Gay America, well, not even just that, but Black Pride itself and other promoters in competition. I just want to tell you, Big Meech, this is why we even have the summit, because the conversation happened, and when we moved forward in 2012, the promoters came together. They created a mega team for Atlanta's Black Pride, and now all of the promoters that are in Atlanta promoting for the Black Pride have come together based, and I don't want to say that wasn't just an ongoing problem, but they seen that there was a couple of issues, and they came together to fix those things. And that's what the summit is about, is having those conversations and then moving forward in our community. So I just wanted to touch on that since you played that snippet. Yeah,
good, because go ahead.
No, I was just following up with it. I was just so glad about it to, like you said, be at the summit. That was my first year. I was just in the audience attending. I have met you and several other people who were on the panels. And even for myself, I'm only on the planning committee because I attended the summit. And because of that, I'm able to – all right. You hit the nail on the head. See, you can't just sit back and want other people to organize for you. You have to say, what can I do for my community? And that's what's happening.
Now, you know what? Now, that's the very question that how I met Darlene. And for those of you who don't know, Darlene Hudson, she is one of the executive directors of the summit. And when we met at last year at Outright Bookstore. Terrence Dean was in town doing a book signing for his current novel, Mogul. And that's how all that came about. Miko Evans with Meek Productions he came to me. He was like, "Child, you need to be involved in this and blah, blah, blah." I like to talk. Talking is a hobby for me. Okay.
All right.
And so when I came to Darlene, that was a very question that she asked me, what are you willing to do for your community? What are you bringing to the table? And, as a man of size, the big boy community, we very rarely have anything that is pleasant around Black Gay Pride events or whatever, and neither does the transgender community. And I'm a trans activist and educator. So when I told her that, I was like, well, honey, I'm coming with both barrels, so that we could do this thing. And it kind of, she gave the rear back. Like, oh, okay, well, come on, Suki Sue. And so that's what that was. So, of course, last year, having my little time there, it was a wonderful thing for me. And it was something that I really believe that is necessary. Now, here's the question that I want to pose, because my experience was, though as beautiful and wonderful as it was, I still get the whole feel of preaching to the choir kind of thing. What are we doing with this year that's going to take us out of that realm, do you think? How have we done it? I'm so fortunate to hear that through last year and after having this discussion that the organizers and the promoters have actually did the work and held themselves accountable of coming together so that we can have a better presentation and so we can remove some of that stigma of black pride always meaning sex and sex parties. So I'm glad that we're having a better presentation. So now that we're in 2012, what are we doing to look for us not having that speaking to the choir kind of mentality going on?
Well, when you have events that bring a lot of information, and like you said, you already made the comment of people wanting some entertainment. Now, so there's some things about our lives that's just not entertaining. Okay, we make fun of it so that we make fun of it so that we can laugh at our pain. But part of what you're saying, preaching to the choir, now that's going to happen. Now, what we need the choir to do is sing when they out. So
did you say that? Wait! You worked me for that. Say that one more again. You just said that. Say it again.
I said part of what we need the choir to do is sing when they out. Okay, because that's gonna happen. You're gonna, and we love that. We want these people to come who are already supporting our community, and then we're trying to bring in new people, new voices. We're on your show trying to outreach to other people. We've been on WRFG trying to outreach in the Georgia Voice, and so what we're trying to do is hit some of these pocket corners where people have not heard of the summit. We want people to start talking about the summit. What is the summit? What does the summit bring into our community? And we also want people to know that it's what you bring to the community. It's what SBGA is going to be. The State of Black Gay America can't be without you and me. You see?
How about that?
That's going to happen, Big Meech, is the preaching to the choir. We're going to be in there. That's one thing.
Right.
And so we're going to have to go out still. Even after the summit, we're going to have to promote this, and we're going to have to let people know that when they come to Atlanta for Black Pride, there are events. And you want a party. I want a party. That we have something there that's going to fulfill those intellectual needs, those political needs, the economic needs, the healthcare needs, what's going on in our communities, because we all, everyone, not just LGBT people, we are all facing some of those issues. So that's what I want to say about that preaching to the choir. We just need everybody to go out and sing about it.
Girl, you worked me for that, and I love that phrase. I'm stealing that from now on. Okay.
Steal it.
So we just need the choir. Now, okay, we can preach to the choir, but the choir got to go sing. And when you out, sing it. Okay, I love that. I love that. Oh, I love that. Okay, see, this is part of that pep rally that I like. And see, this is
all right.
This is the feeling that I like. When we were there last year, I like being able to feel as though, okay, when I leave here, I'm empowered to do something. I feel as though that, now where do we take it? Who do we need to talk to? Who do we need to tell this to? Let's talk about the theme again this year as far as embracing our collective power to influence change. Because a lot of us, it's sad, but a lot of us, because of our past hurts, pains, struggles with the black church and this, that, and the other, the collectiveness of the power seems to be diminished because a lot of folks don't know what their power is. What are we doing? How or in what capacity are we doing to recognize what the power is? You touched on it a little bit, but as far as, you coming to the table, there is no summit without you. So you showing up is already the first step. But now we got to recognize the power. And what does that mean? Or does it have a definition?
It has a multiple of definitions, I will say that. So let me just give us a little bit of information about what the panels are going to be about. So when we have our theme, embracing our collective power to influence change, we're taking that power, just like you want to know, what is that power? So this year we want to have one of our first panels, the power of knowledge to live. So when we talk about power to live, we're talking about the healthcare reform, the new Affordable Care Act. We want to touch on that. Definitely for disparities in the LGBT community among racial minorities and the poor. So we want to make sure that we're touching on that Affordable Care Act. And we also want to touch on prevention, research as a tool for prevention. So we have things going on in our community that affect our health, but what are we doing to, one, educate ourselves, okay? So using that research as that tool for the prevention that we need. So we're going to have some doctors in the house to talk about that, some healthcare professionals to touch on what we can do for that piece. The next one is the power to rock the vote. Now, you talked about it being an election year, and this is what we're bringing to the table. We're talking about funding, okay, funding these progressive campaigns and finding these dollars. See, people want to talk, but they don't want to pay, all right? So we're talking about funding these progressive campaigns and what a progressive campaign looks like in those candidates. And along with that power to rock the vote, we're also going to talk about what it means to have the power to vote. Okay? So trying to, yes, definitely, trying to make sure that people are understanding that that vote does count and that they are registered to vote in advance so that they can express that freedom to vote. Okay? Our next panel that we'll have, is, and this is a good one that you actually mentioned, the power of the people. This is about resilience, okay? This is about the power for us to bounce back from life's adversities, okay? So we're going to be having some people talk about the lessons we've learned, our experiences, especially with people who are oppressed and marginalized, and basically, you know, what us as LGBT people, what have we bounced back from, you know, and what are we resilient about, you know, and trying to bring that to the table, because you talked about pain, so there's going to be some talk about some pain going on, but we are definitely going to talk about that in a resilient type of way. And again, you mentioned the church, so you know how it goes, you know, you talked about preaching to the choir, you brought the church in there, so you know we're going to have a little something, the power of faith and the spirit of love, okay? And this is not just about what religion are you, what do you practice, who is your God. This is not where we're trying to go with that. We're talking about faith. That is belief, not just belief in God, belief in yourself too, and the spirit of love. So we don't want to disclude anybody from that conversation, okay? We want people to be able to, from all walks of life, because that's where we're coming from. We're coming from all walks of life, to have the power of faith and the spirit of love. And, of course, we would be nowhere without our youth, powerful and passionate voices of youth. We will be talking for a panel as well. So that is basically our program in a nutshell, tiny little nutshell I gave. But for the most part, we are really trying to invoke that power. We're gonna be saying that word so much at the summit, embracing our collective power to influence change, because we can't get things done just individually. We have to do it together. Okay?
Exactly. And realizing that it's not a one-size-fit-all type of mentality.
No, honey.
Because we are having a collective power does not mean that the collective is one collective. Because, see, that means that just like a tree doesn't have just one branch that flowers. It branches out, and many different flowers is what creates the tree. And so a lot of us have to break that mentality of coming, you know, looking for a one-size-fit-all kind of approach, because there's so many different personalities, there's so many different types of people, there's so many different belief systems, to where one size doesn't fit all. You know, in fact, one size doesn't even fit most, honey. I need this in a size 32.
Well, all right. All right.
Okay, point blank. So, you know, that there is one of the things that I know from my experience last year was something that we were able to touch on, as far as understanding that this is not a one-size-fits-all. One of the things that, like we say for the voting, honey, if you don't vote, then you have no voice, honey. I don't need you complaining when it's all over.
Well, yes.
You know, if once it's all said and done and you did not go take care of your business at the polls, I don't want to hear your bitch moaning and complaining. Because, see, you didn't do what you were supposed to. You didn't do any of the work. So, you know, you can have it, but save that, write it in the book somewhere, honey, and, you know, then we'll talk about it later. Because right now you're just espousing negative energy. That's not doing anything. Because,
that happens.
You know what I'm saying?
That happens.
But at the same time, I believe that everyone's voice needs to be heard. So, you know, somewhere in that, you know, I may not want to hear you, you know, moan and complain all day, but at the same time, let me see what I could do to activate you to maybe the next time around you will want to then participate. Because perhaps, you know, you didn't feel as though your voice was one that could be heard or should be heard, which is that broken spirit that I've mentioned earlier. Because a lot of our people, you know, we come into pride guys that come down here because, and that's why the party scene is so big. It's because we're looking to have our voice be heard. And yes, I'm one. I was jaded. I'm gonna tell you, I had Raymond Duke on the show a while ago, and we really sat down because I was jaded about Black Gay Pride for a long period of time. Yes, I was. I used to be on the planning committee for Hotter Than July, Detroit's Black Gay Pride program, and I put together the transgender summits. But because of a lot of the hell that I had to go through to get funding from them, and it was an uphill battle within the organization itself, not the outside. It was within the organization. Right. And then on top of getting all that together, we still had to fight with, why we having such a low turnout, at the summits or whatever. But yet the parties, everybody just, you can't even get enough people in the door. I mean, please. The Bulldogs last year, honey, the party was outside in the parking lot because they couldn't put no more bodies in the joint. You know what I'm saying? So how do we get the people to get the information, to know that they are included? But at the same time, a lot of the people are coming because they don't believe they have a voice. They don't believe any of that means anything to them. You know what I'm saying? And that there is why I believe that the summits are important, because we have to now find a way to let them know that they count, that they matter, that this, that they that. And it's frustrating as hell. Because a lot of times, when you're dealing with folks who come in on a one-track mind and have been closed so long, or feel as though their voice have been so dormant, trying to get that, it just becomes an uphill battle. So, yes, I said all that to say I'm encouraging, and I'm really feeling the weight of this. Let me press pause for just a second. 989, I'm coming to you in just a few little seconds. Let me take a commercial break, and then I will come to you on the flip side of this, okay? All right.
Trigg Laboratories manufactures premium sexual wellness and consumer healthcare products and is the parent company of Wet International Incorporated, one of the world's best-selling lines of personal lubricants and intimacy products. We carry a large variety of personal and flavored lubricants, flavored heating massage lotions, and aromatherapy heating massage oils. Whether you need a little or a lot, Wet has you covered. Our line of high-quality, innovative, and unique products are formulated using only the finest ingredients at our FDA-approved facility, meeting the strictest manufacturing standards. Wet is available worldwide at specialty stores and online retailers and at pharmacies nationwide. For more information or to find a retailer near you, log on to www.stayswetlonger.com. Trigg Laboratories. We create fun, quality, trusted products to innovate your intimacy.
I want to wish you happy 3 years of bringing us such wonderful messages and such inspiring, uplifting words into our hearts. Again, it's Sarah Dash, and I wish you the best, darling. Keep on keeping on. I hope you have 300 more years of bringing the tea to us. Bye, baby.
Hey there, all you tea sippers. This is Big Daddy Tony Brown, and on behalf of Big Brothers Network and Big Boy Pride, I would like to wish Big Meats and Dishing Tea a very happy anniversary. Here's to much success and many more.
Happy anniversary. This is Stephanie. me. I have a little cold, Big Meech, but I wanted to wish you a happy anniversary. 3 years. Oh, my God. I'm so happy for you, and I have to be back on. So happy anniversary, darling. I wish you many, many more years. Bye.
The issues that we deal with become the superficial issues.
Wow.
That's what stays in the forefront.
Mm-hmm.
Who got a man, who ain't got a man, whether or not I'm going to walk in this ball.
The gossip.
And all the, all of the gossip stuff. And that becomes our priority and what we as a community and as a culture. And as leaders and other things within LGBT living, we have to now learn how to prioritize, reprioritize, and then weed out the mess from the message.
Thank you. All right.
How about that one?
All right, then. I like that. Don't get me started. You know how we are when we get together. Darling. Okay. Yes.
And let me say this, because we had run out of time, and I wanted to really comment on this piece, because the question was asked with the health component and with HIV and AIDS and with the CDC or whatever. Are we as African Americans on the table? Are we represented? Okay. And my answer would have been no, we're not.
This is true.
And the reason why I feel as though we're not is because the CDC always knows that within the African American community, we are still the largest in high blood pressure and hypertension, diabetes, again with the mental health component. We have a lot of people, and our children are on Ritalin and all these other different psychotropic medications, and all of those particular medications causes sexual side effects.
Wow.
So when we're dealing with the HIV/AIDS component, a lot of our brothers and sisters are not using condoms because they can't. Erectile dysfunction is something that is very real within our community that nobody likes to talk about.
Because see, you know what? We talked about this on your show when you came to the studio way back in February, like late January, February, and we talked about how if you are stressed out, how that can affect other areas of your life.
Exactly.
And so that works with anything else.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? I tell people that stress will kill you quicker than a bullet if you don't talk about it. That's like that slow death. You know what I'm saying? Because it goes in other things and it manifests in other arenas.
Exactly.
You see what I'm saying? When you're stressed out, when you're suppressed, when you're oppressed, and you never get a chance to actually, bring this stuff out. You know what I'm saying? Even if you're sexually frustrated, you can't really get none like you want to. You know what I'm saying? That comes out in other areas.
Okay.
Some folks get real moody, get real bitchy, and all of that stuff. And see, we don't deal with that. And all that also plays a part with not just mental health. It plays a part even in emotional health as well.
Physical health,
yeah.
And all of that. And spiritual development.
Yes, it does. Especially spiritual development.
Especially in those particular areas, because we're already dealing with being displaced Christians, if you will.
This is true.
And I don't like to use that word anymore. I'm going to say displaced believers. And I say displaced.
And also you have a lot of people who are non-believers, and many of them are non-believers because of the fact that they've been hurt.
Exactly.
Because of the fact that they've been ostracized.
Exactly.
And you know what I'm saying? Some people are genuinely non-believers and they still love, and we support them too. However, we're talking about even with this issue, since we know that a lot of LGBT people, many of them still hold on to their Christian values.
Exactly.
You see what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So, yeah, go ahead.
Exactly. And because of those particular reasons, when you have those particular components and dealing with HIV infection, and in dealing with the message, because here we are 30 years plus in, and they pointed out today the numbers are still increasing. Between the ages of 18 and I think 24, is it, that in African American community the number has increased? The number of reported cases has increased. Increased. 48%.
And you know what, even when it comes to that, not saying that, stuff isn't valid, but because of, keep in mind that we are people of color, keep in mind the fact that we are targeted. Can we really trust this research that's being done?
That's the whole point of it.
Can we really trust these, quote, statistics that they are showing us when we don't see this in other communities? And when it's like, wait a minute, other communities just...
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm playing you a snippet of last year's after show. That was Miko Evans and Meek Productions and I discussing some of the things that we had talked about during the summit. And yes, honey, those are some of the things, honey. When the issues get real, the issues get real. We're back. I told 898 I'm coming to you, honey, so you can come on in with Ash and myself. 898-790. You're on the air, darling. How can I help you? You're dishing tea.
Hey, how you doing? Right before you went to the commercial, you started hitting on the area that I wanted to ask a couple questions about because being a part of the community and, even in my younger days, I didn't even know that it was a political aspect to gay black pride or any pride. I just wanted to ask a question, how are you guys advertising this so that people who are unaware that these summits take place will be able to get the information and come to them?
Good question. Ash, you want to take that?
Yes. We're advertising in newspapers, and especially by word of mouth. That's the best way to get people talking, is to talk to your folks that are coming in from out of town, doing shows like with Big Meech, a diverse audience, and really trying to get the word out that we are doing this a different way. It's part of the bigger scene of the entertainment that will take place during the weekend, but that this is a community dialogue, a large, in fact, dialogue that takes place during the summit. And so what we're looking to do, even in the future, if you have a way that we can outreach even further to people such as yourself, that we can tell them that we have this political aspect. And it's not just political. We have a lot of different topics that happen. So you're talking about something that's outside of a party. And I, too, was really engaged with Big Meech when he mentioned that the club is a little bit fatter than the summits, and even the summit that he helped host in Detroit as well as having some of those issues. So we're seeing that as a national trend as well, trying to get people out to come to some of these other events that are not just a party. So, that's a challenge.
Now, even when you go to the Pride events or whatever, it's not really advertised in those places so that even when the next year comes up, people will be aware. I think that it should be more present and more prevalent in the events outside.
Okay. And what we look for is for sponsors. We look for people to make donations so that we can actually, what they like to say, pay for that advertising as well. So that there needs to be some more dollars in our pockets so that we can stretch things a little bit further. So that also is one of those key issues, is trying to get the dollars to fund such advertisement. Because when you start talking about advertisement, we don't have the big money to start putting on commercials, start putting it out there in a big audience type of way. So what we're looking for is for people to make their donations online at www.sdgasummit.org, and so that we can continue to advertise to a wider audience.
Okay. Thank you. You answered my question.
Okay. Well, thanks, darling, all the way from Saginaw, Michigan. Thank you so much. Keep listening. I'm going to put your mic down, okay?
Okay.
So, now he brings up a very good point, and here's something that I want to know. With a lot of the public access channels and stuff here, have we been able to infiltrate that system? Because in Detroit, we didn't, and that's something we did not use. And if they've started, I don't know, because like I said, I have become very jaded to the whole Black Gay Pride experience, because after, this was in 2005, my last year, after we have put this program together, I was bringing in Dr. Marcy Bauer, who is a sexual reassignment surgeon, who actually performs the surgeries on those who are wishing to transition. She's also a trans woman herself. I had her in the palm of my hands, baby. She had agreed. We had everything set up. We had everything to make this summit together. I had so many folks coming to this summit. This was going to be unprecedented. What did these children do? They sat up and told me, why you always got to send for somebody out of town to come up in here? Yeah. And I said, because those who are local are not doing, they don't even come to this thing. So how could I get anybody to come? We need a draw. I said, we're talking transgender issues, and so we know this is going to be what the girls are talking about. The girls and our trans men are looking to make this to happen. So if we get an authority figure on it, this will be it. Baby, it was uphill battle, uphill battle, uphill battle. I told them, I said, well, honey, we need to buy the airplane ticket. It was $256 at the time. Let me get the ticket now so that we could secure this. They kept tabling me and tabling me and tabling me and tabling me up until when I went back to them, I said, honey, we got to get this ticket. They wanted to give me $256 at that time, and now it's already June 7th. The thing starts June 21st. I said, honey, the ticket is now $400, and I think it was like $65 or something. It doubled almost. Then it became a big old problem and a big to-do. Exactly. And because they got to fighting with me and telling me this and telling me that, I canceled it.
Wow.
I canceled the entire summit. I washed my hands and I walked away. And the second after I got off the phone with them, I had a sponsor come in from University of Michigan, their gender studies program, and said, we'll pay for it. And I said, no, you won't, because you're not going to give them anything. I was very jaded that way. Yes, I did. I cursed it, and I said, you are not going to sit up there and satisfy them because you're finna bail them out. We've been planning since September. It is now June, and they sat there and fought me all this time for this. You're not going to do it. If you do it, my hands ain't on it. So that's what that was, and I became completely jaded to the whole experience of it. You know, and so now having come here and been a part of the summit, you know, this is where, you know, a lot of my passion in it is to get the folks rallied up, because a lot of the time, you know, without the community interest or without the resources, because a lot of times, you know, we don't know what resources are in the community. You may not have the financial backing, but maybe you own the printing company service, honey. And so you can take that as the write-off. You see what I'm saying? As a contribute donation, and then that can happen. You see what I'm saying? Maybe I work for a hotel. Perhaps, you know, I could get a little buddy pass off of you or something. We could get the airline ticket, a one-way in, you know, or a hotel accommodation. You know what I'm saying? Just so that we can make it happen. And we don't know that if the folks are not, you know, present enough to say this is what I'm capable of doing.
Well, I'm sorry to interrupt.
Go ahead. No, go ahead, baby.
I was feeling you so much right there. I just want to interject with one thing, and it's not a comment about what you're saying. I'm gonna come back to that. You were talking about the hotel and the resources. I want to say that we're gonna be gathered Saturday, September 1 at 11 a.m. Now, we're going to be at the Mila Hotel and Resorts at 590 West Street, okay, 30308, and we're going to be in the Atlanta Ballroom in the Mila Hotel. Now, part of that is please come on time if you want to come to the luncheon, okay? That precedes the summit. Anyone who want to register, they can go online to www.sbgasummit.org, or they can call 1-800-755-1838 to get your luncheon ticket. That starts at 11 o'clock. We'll run to about 12:30, and then at about 1, we'll be open to the general public to come in for the summit and panel discussion. So I did want to interject with that live little logistics detail. But speaking back to what you were saying so passionately about rallying folks together, so we want to rally them together to come to this hotel, but the resources, Big Meech, that is one of the key things that we see going in that's a challenge, is trying to gather these resources. We are definitely so glad that we're talking with you, because you're a person who has an expertise in doing the summit and that can speak to some of the challenges that are happening when we don't have like that huge turnout, but then you had the huge turnout with a fallout. You see? And so
okay.
I hate to hear you say you were jaded, because we all get jaded. We all have something where somebody somewhere along the line has done something and turned it all upside down, and now we have a frown. So I think that what needs to happen, especially I hope to God that you have another summit in place somewhere, work with us, is that we start, right, is that we start being more positive to each other, and start having that constructive criticism and bring that to the table, because you don't want to tell somebody what you can't do. We want to hear what you can do and do it as quick as possible, like you said, trying to get that plane ticket in for your people that are coming to speak and things. And so when you sit on things, sometimes those balls begin to drop, as they say, and so they can roll you over, you know. And so
exactly. And even if you can't do it, there's a way to say it to where it doesn't become hardening. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of time, again, like I said, a lot of folks come to these events, and we may not get the turnout at what we feel should be the most important parts. See, the information parts and, you know, like the literary cafe, you know, that goes on, and the health fair that goes on. See, a lot of folks don't hear about all of that because they get jaded or feel as though it's not for me because all they hear about are the parties and carrying on.
Well,
and so they become one-tracked. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and that's exactly what I was getting ready to say, is that one track, just like you had your guest who actually mentioned about the advertising. Now, let's tell the truth, Big Meech. When you want to go somewhere and you want to know about something, you'll make it happen. You'll find out what's going on. Now,
that's right.
If
exactly. That's right.
You want to know what a white party is, you're gonna find out where it's at. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna find out how much it costs, and you're gonna be up in the place early, so you don't have to wait in line. You might pay extra. What? Somebody say you might pay extra to get VIP. Now, that's the type of excitement, enthusiasm that we need to have for the summit. And what we're trying to do, and see, this is the harder part, is that people are so busy, you know, trying to escape from that pain, trying to escape from their everyday lives. You know, sometimes it ain't even about the pain. You know, you're just trying to be happy. That they're not looking for that opportunity. So you have to be looking for that opportunity as something as such priceless as the summit that goes on, where you have that community dialogue, where you have that embracing our collective power to influence change happen. And I just want to say with that, our featured keynote speaker is an emerging leader. Her name is Jayshana Holy. Okay? Now, some people may not know her. She was at our summit last year, and she's a youth and up-and-coming person. She's having served as the president of AfriKeep for 2 years. Ms. Holy was honored by the Human Rights Campaign and the National Black Justice Coalition, who she is currently with up in D.C., who's coming down to visit with us. Oh, yes, honey. She is large and in charge. Well, I should just say she's bright and enterprising. But
I love it. I love it.
We're trying to bring some youth to the summit and trying to bring a different type of presence, trying to bring some people who have that excitement, enthusiasm. So we're going to have a special guest appearance by Mr. Keith Boykin. He's a CNBC contributor. Yes, you must have heard of him, BET columnist and former White House aide to President Clinton. Yes, and New York Times bestselling author Mr. Keith Boykin is going to do a little special guest appearance. So we're trying to bring some little energy into there. And when people have these complaints, well, I didn't see the person I wanted to see, or I didn't hear the topic I wanted to hear, that's when we need you to fill out those cards we're going to have there, so you can say, this is the issues I want to bring to the table.
That I want to talk about. Exactly.
Right. This is the special guest I want to see. This is the keynote person that I recommend, and so that we can have that diverse contribution, because some people think, like you said, no one's listening to my voice, no one can hear me, and so people need to begin, one, to collect themselves in a way that is reasonable, okay? So we want to have some people who are being reasonable. We don't want to have no outrageous people, so that when we can listen, okay? And that's just the truth. You want to bring something passionate to the table, and you want to be able to say, what can I do? You just can't come to the table and say, do it. This is what I want to see done, without saying what I can bring, what you can bring to that table. So that's part of just that little bit of tidbit of what's happening, and trying to rally those resources so that if people are listening now and they have resources, they can make them available. They can tell their friends. I know you have a print and press. Can you please help the State of Black Gay America Summit for 2013 get all of their advertising out there, you know? And so that's what we're looking for, and we can't always find it because some of those jewels are hidden, you know. Some of those jewels are kept away.
Like last year, what was shocking was that we had Black-owned gay businesses that no one knew about. You know what I'm saying? That came out on in fact, the organizers and the organizers and promoters conference that had came out on their panel, where a lot of them didn't even know that there were black gay-owned businesses that they could have used, you know, to circulate resources and so that the industry and the community could grow. So a lot of that still becomes on deaf ears and carrying on. We got a caller coming in. Let me go here. 313-772. 313-772. You're dishing tea with Big Meech. Hey, baby.
Well, hey there, Big Meech.
Yeah.
Am I coming through loud and clear, people?
You are, baby. You are.
Well, first off, I'd like to say hello to all that's on the show. I'm sorry, Miss Lady Man, with the beautiful saying of, you know, have the choir start singing, and I love you for that. I love you for that. I'm gonna get on that for a hot second. But first, I want to say hello, Mother Taylor. God bless you. Nice to know that you're in the area. Okay. With that being said, I halfway expect to leave this experience basically being told to kick rocks, but I'm going to do it anyway. To go back to the preaching to the choir and the choir needs to sing, I have found myself in a predicament where I have gotten back in cahoots, if you will, with a bunch of heterosexual males, or at least the ones that are out and proud about it. That's what they're claiming. And I have yet to summon the testicular fortitude to let these men know that sometimes the subject matters in which they, you know, when they talk about homosexuals, you know, that they're irritated, you know, just to keep that dialogue going, because I do know that, you know, it's through the communications that we get in some things happening. However, I personally find it difficult to communicate when I'm so wrapped in the absurdity of the comment. An example is there's a gentleman that sits among us and believes that homosexuals have disease-ridden minds. Yet this young man, excuse me, Mama Taylor, for where I'm about to go, is forever advertising about how he wants his dinkerdoodle sucked from the back.
Uh-huh.
And so, you know, in a moment when you're thinking, I'm thinking I want to just jump up and say something, because I can guarantee you, and it makes me feel a little bit like a little punky coward, that if my auntie was here with me, or Miss Brisker, and they heard it, I would support them all day. But as a solo artist on this mission, I'm picking and choosing my battles, and it's not a lot of encouragement, even from within the our own community, the gay community. There's not a lot of encouragement to want to step up and be proud now, because there's so many things that seem to be, especially within our own community, and that's just, you know, within the black community, the gay community, just take it to that whole other level. It's very discouraging to want to go spread the news about all the wonderful things you hear. And I'm a person that's trying to learn how to shut up, so, you know, I'm just conflicted all the way around. So if you can address any part of that madness, that would be awesome.
Well, let me start with this, because part of what I said earlier, when folks come down for Black Gay Pride celebrations and feel as though their voice is not heard, see, a lot of what you're talking about as far as the fighting within the community. Okay, you've left Pride, you know, I'm gay and I was born this way, you know, did the tee-ha-has, you know, waved your rainbow flags, and now you're back into regular life and regular living. You know, you don't have your comrades there. And see, what ends up happening, that those inner struggles and that particular kind of fighting on that level becomes where a lot of folks feel as though their voice is not heard, because, you know, they're around people who it may become violent, they may fear for their health or their life or whatever. And so in picking and choosing the fight, what one have to do is to become a little bit more you have to do your research a little bit. So you have to get into organizations and find a better platform to where you can address the issue as a whole. See, a lot of times, see, like stuff like the summit, and Todd, you've been with me. This is my nephew, y'all, so I know who this caller is. You've been with me on many occasions where I may not have done something right then and there. However, I know once I get into this particular platform, we have to now call the troops together and rally. A lot of that becomes political power as well. You know, I'm quick to write a letter, honey. Dear Congressman, honey, you need to do something about this, because if you don't, I'm going to end up catching the case, because this needs to be done. You see what I'm saying?
For me to be that
go ahead.
The one it's mainly, and I'm gonna come across as a big old wet one on this one. It's very hurtful to hear, to witness. That's a better word to use. It's very hurtful to witness the disconnect of all the valuable information that we can share just because I'm the gay guy in the group, or I'm talking about a gay topic, and the dismissal you get from anything. You know, it's like you're talking to a room full of deadheads. But
a lot of that, yeah.
They want to defend their BS. They want to defend their BS while they neglectful to their own children. Well, then it always comes down to, well, at least I ain't gay. Like, wow.
Ooh.
Right. As if that's the disease.
Right.
Okay.
Just hurt me on that one.
Exactly. And see, a lot of that, and see, this is why the summits are important. This is why I was encouraging you to come with me when I was putting on, and see, when I was doing it, see, we had the full summit, which included a dinner and a keynote speaker and carrying on. Then we broke off into tracks where we had the men's, the women's, the youth, and the transgender tracks independently. And so because of that, that's why those were so important, because what happens as a community, we have to understand and learn how to empower ourselves, how to find out what weapons that we have to actually use.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? In order to be an effective community member, because what happens, you know, they say a closed mouth don't get fed, and each time that so we hear derogatory terms, somebody calling somebody a fag or a sissy or a dyke or a bulldog or whatever. Anytime we hear those terms, and we don't say anything to protect the person, then we're just as guilty as the person saying it. But a lot of times it's not safe for us to do so. So what we need to learn is how to address that, and that's some of the things that may be a topic that need to be presented at one of the community summits, so that we know how to rally, how to effectively grab the tools that's needed, so that we can learn how to protect our own. I mean, look at it from the flip side of the coin. We as black folks, honey, whenever white folks say the word nigger, we know how to rally for that. We know how to rally when we hear discrimination. We know how to do all that. But in the gay community, and particularly gay persons of color, because our white counterparts know exactly what the hell to do. They know how to write their congressman. They know how to go pull up a sign. They'll go march it in a minute. We're not there yet.
And so, just to give y'all this one, you know the stigma of being considered that cool gay guy, because you're not like the rest of them. So, there is a little slight fright of, like, losing that particular status.
And exactly, which is something that we all know all too well. And see, that there is the double side of the coin of the ballroom status. A lot of our youth, they get involved into criminal activity, all to live up to the fantasy of having ballroom status. But yet, when the ballroom is over, you still got to come down to reality. And these are topics; these are legitimate topics that need to be covered at something such as State of Black Gay America, because that's the state we're in. These are some of the things that we talk about, and this is why, like Ash was saying earlier, honey, the summit ain't the summit without you there. If you ain't there, we can't talk about it. Because if that's something that's on your mind, or that's something that is important to you, then that at least has to be something that we get an index card on, or some kind of when we do the what's the name sheets, the after the sermon sheets. Okay, did you hear what you need to hear? Okay, what could we do to change? What needs to improve?
Get over that. And that for me is a little bit difficult, because as you stated earlier, that speaking to the choir thing becomes a little monotonous, because it's like, we all know this, we all get this. It do be the quote-unquote heterosexual males in particular that I seek out to try to communicate with. But like I say, when we get on serious topics, it's like you can hear the brains turning off for their own protection. And it's just the witness.
Well, here's the thing, baby, because a lot of what you're doing is on an independent personal level, and you may not be in a space, honey, where they are receptive of that yet. And that's okay. because the effort is there, and you're making an effort to say, okay, if y'all going to include me in this particular circle, I'm not. I love this line, honey, from Torch Song Trilogy, honey. I'm not going to erase the parts of my life that you don't like just because I'm gay. Okay,
well,
so because.
Definitely. Love it.
So and that's why the summits are very much so needed. Now, because you're on the personal level, it deems for you to now invoke your power. See, this is where your power comes into play to get the leaders. You're down there in Detroit. I just said, honey, this is why I feel the Detroit stuff. They need to hear from you, baby. So when you hear about the planning committee coming up, this is where you take yourself down there and be like, okay, for this summit, this is some of the things that we need to talk about because we need to learn how to coexist with our heterosexual counterparts.
Right.
At the same time, we need to find who our heterosexual allies are. Because we have a lot of allies within the heteroattractional community. We just have to learn how to mobilize, galvanize, and to rally with them so that they too can learn how to teach their own how to address us.
Right, exactly. And I think, Big Meech, that's an even bigger issue that is so deeply rooted in
exactly.
So many other things we could go into about heterosexual men or women or whatever you want to get into that kind of disrespect us and really put off their own insecurities on us. I'm glad at least I'm not gay. Jeez, is that the worst thing you could be? And a-hole is first, I would think. But
right.
But yeah, your nephew hit the nail on the head as far as what he's heard about, and definitely in those spaces, like you said, that may not be safe. I've been in some unsafe spaces, so sometimes you do kind of head back on what you want to say and things. But when you're in the position to talk to someone about defending, one, your dignity and your right to just be a person, that's what it really gets boiled down to, is that people are putting off their insecurities on us in a bad light. And what we have to do is we have to press forward. We can't entertain the negativity. We can't entertain other people's insecurities. We have to step forward, and that's part of, like you said, what the summit is trying to do. And people who are wanting to be engaged and want to be encouraged and be educated have to step up. You can't keep sitting at home just having a side conversation at the kitchen table. You got to bring that kitchen table out into the streets. You got to tell people what's going on. You're going to have to make sure that we hit these clubs and talk to the young folks because, sometimes they get wrapped up into what has just been going on, and the next year. See, they only follow by example as well, So if you lead by that example, that's the way people are going to go. So what we have to do is take some time to, one, educate ourselves. Let's really get past what we've defined as homosexuals and get down to just good people, good folks trying to live their lives because it is such a stigma. When you're dealing with people who even want to self-identify in the lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender community or being queer, you can't even say these words because they're demonized. And so what we need to do is try to be more positive in our personal lives that we're living. And bring that forth because I let no one slip past me with those comments. I live a life of dignity. I try to live in my own power and my own respect so that when I talk to people, they don't see just Ash, who actually is a dominant butch lesbian, by the way. I say that so that I can politically identify along with folks because I also am a trans ally. My best friend is a trans man, and I want people to know we have to love people inside and out just because they're people. We can't keep dehumanizing people and making people feel like they're not even real, that they don't have a spirit, they don't love, and that's what's happening. You have people trampling over our dignity. So that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to really be model citizens because we are. We've been in all facets of life. We've been in all different political arenas. We've been in professional, anywhere we've been. We're all over this globe, okay? And so what is happening is that we just need to pull together. We need people like Big Meech in your show to be able to express these ideas as plainly and bluntly as we can, and furthermore go out there and organize, not just as activists and organizers, but as people, like you said, rally the troops and be able to come together. And so I'm just hoping that some people will get online and register at www.sbgasummit.org so that we can see you out there, because otherwise there is no us without you. That's all.
It. You know what?
That's it.
Just to save a little face, just to save a little minuscule bit, Amy, you know, as usual, on a one-on-one basis, they act like they tuned in and tuned up, but the instant somebody walked by, you know, that's like, okay, change the subject for a hot second. I have discovered I'm able to hold someone's attention for a little bit, but it doesn't feel sincere, or it doesn't feel like I'm actually making that big of a difference.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, a lot of times, just like Ash said, see, a lot of that goes down into, you know, how issues double, topple, the lines blur, and this, that, and the other, and it becomes too complex. It doesn't become one issue; it becomes issues, and then a lot of that it's not even an issue anymore, honey. You just case management, period. Okay, you just a case.
Oh wow.
And in some regards, when we're looking at our community, because a lot of us come broken, a lot of us come disenfranchised or whatever, that's why the summits are important. That's why I was grilling that with you. That's why I was grilling that with others, how important this is. That's why when y'all would see me go through the toil, sweat, and tears, when I blew up because stuff was not being taken seriously, this is why. Because just what you've experienced just on the personal level, imagine the person who doesn't have the voice to, you know, or who didn't have someone like me in their life to show them a different way. You know, they're closed and entrapped. And all they hear about Black Gay Pride, when it's time for Black Gay Pride, okay, they can come out and be fabulous because it's just like the coming out process. When you've been closeted for so long, all you know is I'm free, I can do this because I'm around folks who support this. Okay, but when it comes down to actually saying, okay, this is what I want to do, haven't you ever noticed whenever a conversation gets started, you know, no one is willing to start the conversation because everybody's afraid to get hurt? I don't care where you are, whether you're in school, whether you're at work, whatever. Anytime someone asks a question and you're in the same setting or whatever, everyone is scared to say something first, even if you're talking about sex. Everyone is scared to be that first person to say something because they don't want to be laughed at. They don't want their voice to go unanswered or unheard or whatever until their ice is broken and then they can feel comfortable and then they know they're safe to have a voice. Well, that there is one of the prime reasons the summits exist, is to give you your platform for your voice.
Well, I can tell
and at least if you can't say it, someone you can identify with will be able to be your mouthpiece. You see what I'm saying? So yeah. So darling, give this one more time. I
can tell
Go
you
ahead.
personally that your presence is missed from Detroit, not just on a personal level, but your influence. I had no idea how big of a difference you personally made in Detroit as far as the gay community, LGBT, or however those initials go. You know, I ain't good with that part. But you really had you made a difference, and I for one, am proud to know you for that. But what you've gone, it's noticeable. I have not seen anyone fight or get in the mix like you have. Not that I've been as invested as I was when you was here. However, from what I'm glancing at a distance, no one seems to want to take the reins like that, and myself included. It's like, I don't want to fight all y'all like that. I don't want to sit up here and argue and fuss, especially with my own community, because that hurts my little feelings. I do understand I need to man up a little bit, so I feel you. Thank you both for listening to me.
Definitely.
Well, all right then, darling. I thank you for that. I'm going to put your mic down because I need Ash. Ash, I want you. I'm going to put this out here because, okay, 989, you got, okay, I'm coming back to you in just a second. I'm going to put this out here because I want this to ride the omniverse like I know it will. And that is all of you promoters those of you who know how to get the resources quicker than the nonprofit organizations do. By hook or crook, I'm not going to criticize how you do it. I'm going to ask, okay, because Raymond told me some things, honey, and I'm like, okay, that's kind of shady. But here's the ticket. If you got the money because you bringing in Fantasia, you bringing in Ashante, you bringing in Stephanie Mills, you bringing in Whoopi Goldberg, or whatever you bringing in, I'm going to challenge you to get with the summit, and perhaps there could be a deal drawn to where one of those celebrities could be at the summit to be the draw to get the folks to come to the summit. You see, that's what brought them to your party. How come we can't help this out so that folks can get the information that's needed? Now, I'm going to say that. I'm just throwing that out there because it's going to ride like I needed to ride. Okay.
I hope it rides. I hope it rolls.
Oh, I know it is. I know it is because that's going to hit on the right people. Now, I want you to go, once again, give everyone the website,
yes, I have
the date and everything, where we're going to be. The Malia Hotel, darling, is right in downtown Atlanta. It is an LGBT-friendly hotel. I'm throwing that out there like that because they come to the plate, and it's a beautiful establishment and all of that. But give everyone the date, the times, revisit the panel breakdowns, give all that.
Okay. The 6th Annual State of Black Gay America Summit, SBGA. Our theme this year for 2012 is Embracing Our Collective Power to Influence Change. It's Saturday, September 1st, 2012, at the Mila Hotel, 590 West Peachtree, Atlanta, Georgia, from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. The African-American LGBT community faces many challenges in the plight to gain equal rights and freedom as we continue the fight against racism, bigotry, prejudice, and discrimination. We must unite as one community in order to begin the dialogue between our communities and our allies. More importantly, we must be proactive in securing our community's future. Please register online at www.sbgasummit.org. All right, and our panels will include, I'm going to run down them really quickly, okay? We have the power of knowledge to live. We're going to be talking about the Healthcare Reform Act, Affordable Care Act, ACA. We're going to be talking about prevention. We have healthcare professionals in. We're going to be talking about the power to rock the vote, embracing our collective power to fund progressive campaigns. Progressive candidates speak on the power to vote. We also will be talking about the power of resilience, okay? We're going to also bring powerful, passionate youth voices and the power of faith in the spirit of love, okay, with our special keynote speaker, Jayshana Holy from the National Black Justice Coalition, and a special guest appearance by Mr. Keith Boykin, New York Best Time-selling author. And that is the State of Black Gay America in a wrap.
Okay. Tell me, who are going to be some of your panelists this year? I know last year, and she's a senator, and I can't call her name. She was sitting on the panel with me. Oh, God. Lord, I had her name.
I know the name escapes us at this moment.
Woo! But we've had political leaders that came on, senators and state senators and things that who are LGBT friendly, if not LGBT themselves, who came out to help rally. So give us just a brief overview of some of the panelists that we can listen to.
Well, I do want to mention one panelist in the Power of People for the Resilience will be Paulina Helm Hernandez, my wife. She will be on the panel speaking. All right. And then especially when we talk about health care and the Affordable Care Act, we're going to have Jeff Graham and Celeste Davis. And also with research as a tool for prevention, we're going to have Dr. Paula Few from Emory University and Dr. Don Smith from the Center of Disease Control, CDC. We're also going to have speaking panelists Sebastian Alvarez, Michael J. Burrow, Angela Brown, State Representative Keisha Waits, Commissioner Joan Gardner, and a few other people. Reverend Angela Denise Davis will be in the house. Some youth we're looking forward to hearing from.
Oh, that's my baby.
All right.
She's
going to be speaking. She's going to be doing the do. She's going to be making it happen. So I'm looking forward to that. And we have so many more who are going to be coming to the table and joining us. We're going to be seeing a big turnout from Emory University this year because we will be lifting up a special tribute will be held in the honor to the life and legacy of Rudolph P. Byrd with the James Weldon Johnson Institute for Study of Race and Difference, Emory University, who contributed to the study of modern-day civil rights. So, again, we will have some people in the house talking it down. We're going to, like I said, have healthcare professionals. We're going to be having some political folks with our state reps and our commissioner in the house. And then, like I said, we're going to be really big meet. You already know because you've been there. And so we're hoping that some new folks will come out. Whoever you have listening that are coming down to Atlanta will be able to turn out. We're going to be getting started at 11. We'll be eating our lunch. And then we'll get started with the panel around 1 o'clock. So it is open to the public at that time, and then we can get things going, and you can definitely always leave an opening to the conversation at the end with addressing the issues that you think need to be addressed for next year's summit or in the future, because like we've done before, I don't know if you heard, we had a community dialogue prior to, I think back in July, at the Philip Rush Center, where we brought a small panel in there, and we had a diverse group of people on that panel. State rep, I think even Miss Mel Scott from Track Girls was in the house, Reverend Kenneth Samuels was in the house, Gregory Allen was in the house on that, and we just really rocked it out with the community then, just trying to bring a little bit for the community to experience and as well get in on the conversation so that when we have this conversation Saturday that you're already there, you're already present, you're bringing your frame of mind. So that's what we're looking for. That's what we're hoping to achieve with the summit, is that we can just come together, recognize each other, mobilize. That's the biggest part. Mobilize individuals to recognize their collective power towards building communities that are prosperous, free of violence, and the rights of all are respected. So that is our goal for this year's summit, embracing our collective power to influence change. Big Meech.
All right. I'm going to go back to 989. He had his hand up. Hey, baby, you wanted to say something else?
Hello?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I was just going to make a comment when Mark was on, but I was just going to tell him, the person who said, at least I'm not gay, and in my mind, that's just acknowledgement that you can't change who you were. So don't take it in a negative light. I always try to take those negatives and turn them into a positive. Yeah, that's who I am, and that's who I'll be.
All right.
Okay. Okay, in the words of Archbishop Carl Bean, honey, I'm gay and I was born this way, honey. Okay. If you have a problem with that, then discuss it with the Lord. Don't discuss it with me. Thank you kindly. Okay. And on that note, my darling, I want to bid you a wonderful conference this year.
Thank you
and a
so
wonderful
much.
summit. It is my goal to get down there. I don't know if I will because I'm recuperating from surgery.
I know, I heard.
And all of that. So, but I want to come bopping in to catch the summit this year to see the different panel breakdowns and all of that. But in any event, honey, I'm going to send all of my love and my energy and stuff that way. Darlene and Greg, honey, they know that this here is a beautiful thing, and I support them wholeheartedly with this. And, yes, though I was jaded about Black Gay Pride, honey, my passion for my community still lives. So though I may not do certain things, honey, in the name of pride, quote-unquote, I will do a lot of things, honey, to uplift my people, honey, because my people needs. You hear what I'm saying? Because, see, Pride is not just Labor Day weekend for me. Pride is not holiday in July, honey. My Pride started March 4th, 1970, honey, when I came out of my mama. So, that was mine. So until then, honey, I want you guys to have a wonderful time, honey. Do all that you can, and it is my goal to make sure that as long as this platform is available, honey, you have an ally here so that we can continue to make that message known.
Thank you, Big Meech. I just want to say happy anniversary and a speedy recovery. We love you so much.
Thank you, darling. We love you back, okay? So let's go make it happen, baby. That's all we got to say. Let's do it. See?
Let's make it do what it do.
See there. All right, baby. For your wife being on the panel. That's lovely, honey. Yes. Encourage her for that and all of that, honey. Y'all do very well. I will talk with you again soon.
Thank you.
All right, you're welcome. All right, ladies and gentlemen, honey, that has been Miss Ash Hernandez, honey. and she is the Director of Communications right now with the State of Black Gay America Summit. You can all find out more about all of this. Just go to spgasummit.org and also go to that same website to register online for the keynote speaker for the luncheon. Also, remember Saturday, September 1st, 2012, starting at 11 p.m. From 11 to 1 will be the luncheon and the keynote speaker, featuring Keith Borgen is going to make a special appearance. And she said the name of the young lady, and it just escapes me, but go to the website, which is dynamic, because this is one of our youth leaders. I love it when our youth come up and be very passionate. I love for the youth. This is the time we got to encourage the babies, because we become the old folks, honey. Who going to sit up there and take them? Okay, we got to let the youth come in with the voice. And then also, starting at 1 o'clock would be the breakdown of all the different panels for the summit. So Saturday, September 1st, 2012, honey, at the Malia Hotel, which is right downtown in the heart of Atlanta. For those of you who are here in Atlanta, it's right there at the North Avenue train station. You come right up on the North Avenue side. It's kitty corner. Go right across the street, and you're right there. So you don't have to worry about a lot of parking. If you don't feel like driving, it's a straight shot there through, or a forward shot. Ha! Let me say this, a special announcement. For those of you who are in town, my organization, the Keeping It Big Facebook group, well, the Keeping It Big organization, I moderate the group on Facebook. The owner and the administrator, Lo and Romeo, are in town. They will be putting together a meet and greet for all of the members of Keeping It Big. They're going to be over at their at where they're going to be staying at the Residence Inn, which is out by Perimeter Mall. Okay, so for more information, I want you to go to the Facebook page, look up Keeping It Big, and you'll have all the information like right there. Or just email me, bigmeech@dishingtea.com, and I can give you all of the information about the meet and greet. They're having a wine and cheese meet and greet tomorrow. Saturday, they're going to have some fun festivities, which is going to be announced. And then Sunday, honey, they're going to be presenting what they call Keeping It Big Presents Sex in the ATL. This is an adult joint, okay, that they're going to be having over at the Residence Inn, and you will be able to understand what all of that means very soon. If you ain't got it by now, honey, you ain't going to get it. It's going from 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. in the morning, and this is going to be their final ATL party. This is going to be the final one, so you're due to make sure that you get there to check it on out. So without any further ado, honey, I want you guys to please have a wonderful, 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 safe Pride weekend. I want to ask you specifically, what are you proud about? What are you proud for? What are you proud with? And let that be demonstrated throughout this weekend. Make sure you play safe. If you're going to play hard, that's cute, but play hard and be responsible. If you're going to play hard and be safe. Keep your bearings about you. Understand that you're still trying to make it back home. And if you do all those things, you will. I encourage you to have a wonderful Pride weekend, and I will talk to you on the next go-round. Join me again Wednesday. This will be September 5th, 2012, where the show, on the show, we will have Mr. Damian Clark, also known as Mr. Inappropriate. He's an actor and comedian and also a director and filmmaker. We're going to be talking with him, not about him. Well, maybe about him too. We're going to be talking with him about his career and some of the projects that he's working on and what's coming up. Also, I want you to save the date. Coming soon, we will be talking with the author, K. Murray Johnson, who has written this fantabulous book entitled Images of Emeralds and Chocolate, baby. It is the first of its kind where we're dealing with an African-American gay vampire romance novel. Yes, I said it all in one sentence. This book is absolutely lovely, honey. We're going to be discussing that book very soon, so I will want you to pay attention as I tell you all about that then. So With all of that, my darlings, I love you, and I will talk with you soon, honey. Finish all of your crumpets, honey, because the tea has been dished, and you've been dishing tea, darlings. Oh, with Big Meats, honey. Tell a friend if you love me. Tell an enemy if you hate me. But just know one thing, any way, shape, style, form, or fashion, honey, this thing is moving forward. Until the next time, I'll talk with you soon. Ciao.